Our friends over in Salt Lake City had a recent experience. The cost of a college education has nearly doubled over the past decade, so one hardworking student decided to respond with a unique protest by paying his tuition in $1 bills. I can't pronounce the gentleman's name. McGall, I guess. McGall, I'm going to call him. Already goes to class 10 hours a day during the week. Really? 10 hours a day during the week goes to class. That would be more than a full load. I've got college students and have had them for years, and I don't know of anybody who went to class 10 hours a day during the week. But I'll let that stand for a minute. And he works 16-hour shifts at the local Home Depot during the weekend. Good for him. When it came time to pay for school, he and hundreds of other students waited in line, and he carted in the thousands of $1 bills to pay for his tuition in a metal carrying case. Everyone was peering over my shoulder when I opened the chest, he told the student paper. McGall insists he wasn't trying to make life difficult for anyone working in the university billing department. Rather, he wanted to make a point about the ever-increasing price of a college education. When you spend cash, you feel every dollar that you hand over to someone else. You feel you're losing that. If you just swipe your card, it could be $10,000 or $100,000 and you don't really feel it. When you actually slide over a huge pile of cash, you feel like you've spent something. Well, that's true. That's why we've told people for years to pay for things in cash. It changes your world. I think it's awesome that he decided to do something different, and because he was feeling the weight of the tuition. I disagree with a couple things in the article, but overall, I mean, he's worked his butt off. He paid cash for his tuition. That's awesome. He felt the weight of it and felt the value of what he was investing in for the education. I don't think he lost the money. I think when he slid it across, he invested the money into himself. Education's a good investment in most cases, assuming you're studying something that's actually has a marketplace application. I'm glad that he felt that, and I'm glad he's working so hard to get through, and what a neat idea. I mean, he's thinking differently, and, $1 bills makes the point to yourself that it's expensive. It also makes the point to the university that this is expensive, and it reminds them that this is real money. These aren't just digits, and I think it's a good thing for universities to remember this is real money when they are taking the money that a student is investing into themselves for an education, which implies they should give value for that money, a great education. And they should guide them in doing coursework that makes sense and that is applicable. That's good for the education institution, the university, to feel the weight of that. It's good for McGall to feel the weight of that. I'm not sure I'm going along with the protest part of this, because if you want to protest something, the way you protest it is you don't do it. If you want to protest what someone charges for something, the way you protest that is you don't buy it. So I'm not sure this was actually a protest. And it's like somehow you have the right to tell them what they're going to charge. But if you say, I don't like what you charge for that, the best way to say I don't like what you charge for that, other than to talk about it, is to not give them your money. That will adjust their world after a while. And it's part of the reason education costs has gone through the roof is because of the student loan debacle. Students borrow money without even thinking that it's real money, give it to universities that don't even act like it's real money, and the money's so accessible and there's so much of it because you and I, the taxpayers, guarantee it, that there's there's so many dollars chasing the education world around that the education world gets the idea they can charge anything, and so these huge tuition increases happen. Let me just tell you, there's a simple thing in economics called a supply-demand curve. When there is less demand than there is supply, there is pressure downward on pricing. When there's a shortage of something, more demand than there is supply, the pressure is upward on pricing. And so that's what's happening here. We have more demand because of easy student loans than we have supply, and so university tuition continues to skyrocket. But if you were to back down the demand and fewer people were chasing those universities around, begging them to get to go there, then there's a downward pressure. Yes, there's an actual cost associated with supplying the education and so forth, but these things, they tend to adjust themselves when there's no customers. And so that's part of the equation. So I'm not really up for a protest, not while you're handing people your money. But this is a great, cool thing. The young man felt the weight of the cost of his education, the investment of his education. The university felt the weight of it. And it made a great story, and we got to talk about it. So something to think about. By the way, when you pay cash for things, it activates the pain centers in your brain. He's right about that. Several studies indicating that you feel it when you pay cash. If you lay a couple of $100 bills on the counter to buy something, you know you bought something. You feel it. When you just swipe the plastic, you don't feel it. He's exactly right about that. Very insightful young man. Very cool stuff.